Hello, I am coming at you live, and today we are going to talk about the Fleshgod Apocolypse and Hypocrisy double tour called Death is Just the Beginning. And I have to say that I was absolutely amazed by Fleshgod Apocolypse. Band from Italy. They've been around since 2007. They've had a couple of lineup changes over the course of the last couple of years, but they have something that's so unique. They're symphonic death metal, which a lot of people just don't get, but I think it's fun. I think it's unique, and this was the first time I've been able to see them live. I have missed them on previous tours, though I have heard their entire catalog. They currently have a single out for Sugar and a video that you can see on YouTube. They are signed to Nuclear Blast, so I want to thank Charles Elliott and Crystal Alyssa Torres for hooking me up with this show. The band came into Dallas and played at Gas Monkey Bar and Grill on March the 22nd. It was a full house. Partly because these are bands that they don't really get over here that much. The idea of Hypocrisy on a Friday night and me not being there was just not appealing to me. So obviously I had to find a way to get there. And so we're going to start out with Fleshgod's set. It was a double headliner, so they got equal time. And it was ethereal in the way that the stage presentation began. Now, the band has a female backup singer who is amazing is not the word for her. Her name is Veronica Borrachini, and she comes out on stage before the rest of the band. You've got smoke, you've got lights, and she is dressed in what I would call Gothic Renaissance. I'm going to show you a picture of the band right now. This is a most recent picture of the band. As you can see, here's Veronica. She walks out onto the stage in this costume. It's like death metal Anne Boleyn style with a spiked French hood, tiara. She's carrying a trident. She's menacing yet feminine at the same time as she comes out onto the stage. At that point, the rest of the band joins her. We have Francesco Paoli, Paolo Rossi, Fabio Bartoletti, David Falcito, and Francesco Farini, rounding out the rest of the lineup. And I wasn't sure what to expect. They were theatrical. They moved together in rhythmic harmony. It was synchronistic. I thoroughly enjoyed their set. I didn't really know what to expect, but they opened with The Violation, and they moved into Healing Through War, and then Cold as Perfection. The fourth song in the lineup was the live debut of Sugar. The full album that they're working on will be available through Nuclear Blast sometime this spring. I don't have the exact release date yet, but I feel quite certain that once all of that is said and done, that you'll be getting an album review on it too from me. So just the whole set was pure energy. It was interesting. They had piano. They had the female vocal. Veronica was allowed time in front of the band, in front of the audience, to sing lead on a couple of pieces. She wasn't just relegated to the background like you often see backup singers. She had a role to play, and she was larger than life. I just loved seeing her. She was fantastic. Minotaur was also in the set. Then there was a little intermission with a prologue leading into epilogue. Then Fury, the Fool, the Egoism, and the Forsaking. A 10-song set. It was enough, but you really wanted to hear more. I think that this band has very good staying power. I think that once the new album is out, we'll see another tour in the coming months. Obviously, they'll do Europe, I'm sure, during festival season, and then hopefully they'll come back to the U.S. That would be fantastic. There's about another 2 weeks left on this current tour, and if they're coming to your city, absolutely check them out. You will enjoy it. If you're a fan of symphonic death metal, I really think this is the band for you, if you've not heard them. So give them a chance. New single, Sugar, new video for it. Go look at it. Listen to it. They're on Spotify. They have a Facebook page. They have their own website. So if you like what you're hearing in the background right now, I would say to check it out. Let's move on over to Hypocrisy. Hypocrisy is a band that when they come here, if you are a fan of death metal, you know their name. They've been around since 1991. Peter Tägtgren is probably one of the best known death metal musicians in the genre. I don't know how anybody could possibly even consider missing this band if they come into your area. So, we've still got our lineup of Peter on vocals and guitars, Michael Hedlund on bass, and Horg on drums. And their discography is extensive. First album came out in 1992. It's kind of paved the way for other bands of that era. At first you might think, oh, they're just another death metal band. They sound like everybody else. No, they don't. They have a sound that is uniquely theirs. They're a trio, for one thing. And every year or so, it seemed they released a new album, starting from 1992 on up. Now, their last studio release for Nuclear Blast was in 2013. They did a reissue and remastering of Penetralia and Osaculum Obscenium. But they also, that same year, released their last full-length album, End of Disclosure. There is a new record in the works. It's coming in 2019, according to Peter. So I think that we'll be able to hear some new music from them, and that will be exciting because live, they're a beast, an absolute beast. They're good. They're tight. They've been playing together for a long time. You know that you're going to get a good show out of them. I mean, and they don't come that often. So if they're coming anywhere near you on this tour, which goes for 2 more weeks, check the tour dates. They're not to be missed. They really aren't. The last album was excellent. I've been a fan since they began in '91. This marks, I don't know how many times I've seen them live. I just know that if they come anywhere near me, I go. So their set list was equivalent in time and span to that of Fleshgod because it is a double headlining tour that's going on right now. They opened with Fractured Millennium and moved seamlessly into Valley of the Damned and then End of Disclosure. Adjusting the Sun was on set list, Eraser, and then they had the medley Pleasure of Molestation, Osaculum Obscenum, and Penetralia. So that that was harsh for a lot of people. You had people moving in the pit. It was swirling. The energy was palpable. Everyone was enjoying themselves. Something else that I noticed too about this particular crowd is that it was obviously an all ages show, which is usually the case at any of your Gas Monkey venues, but the range of age of the crowd was really fantastic. There were people of my generation, there were kids, teenagers, young adults. All of them were familiar with the music. The band moved into Fire in the Sky, then on to Killing Art, Buried, Warpath, and the final chapter. Now, for the encore, which, as I'm just going to call them the headliner, I know it was a double headlining set, and that's the way it's been advertised, but Hypocrisy, they have seniority. They got to play a little bit longer. The Gathering, Roswell 47, and Death Row wrapped up the show. And they could have played another hour, and I think people would have been happy. They build up to a big finish. They're professionals. They've been doing this for a long time. Peter Tatgren is fantastic. I can't say enough about him. I also got to meet Fabio from Fleshgod Apocolypse. Very pleasant young man, super nice. They seem to appreciate the people being there. Both bands. Hypocrisy comes over from Sweden, Fleshgod from Italy. They're used to playing to fairly large crowds at home. During the summers, they play the festival circuits, and then they come over here, and the place was packed. It was absolutely packed, and I was so glad. It was a Friday night, but I'm going to tell you, I've heard reports from other areas that even the weeknight shows are full. There has not been an empty house at any of these shows because it's the kind of show that draws a lot of attention. It's the kind of show that you don't get every day. So we're seeing many of our venues move toward a younger audience, which means school nights. So shows end earlier, which is great for me because at my age, I've had my Geritol and a glass of wine by 9 and I'm done. So I was glad they were here on a weekend and I didn't have to do it in the middle of the week, but it was over before midnight. So the kids that were there probably didn't miss school the next day unless they have really cool parents like mine. Jensen didn't go to school the next day. So just saying. But needless to say, check it out. Here is the lovely faces of Peter and company. They do have a new album out. Come on, Peter. Let's get it finished. The fans want to hear it. Not to be missed. Fleshgod Apocolypse, Hypocrisy, with support from Animus, who I did miss. They were ending their set as I arrived. I hear many, many good things about this band. The tour is death. It's just the beginning. See it, love it, have a great time. Pick up copies of both of these bands' catalogs via Nuclear Blast. Buy merch and tip the merch guy. That's how they buy gas. So it gets a big thumbs up from me. I love it. 5 stars. It was great. And tune in for more reviews from me and all of the crazy crew at knac.com, the loudest.com on the planet.